Welcome to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I'll be sharing tips on how to get noticed as a new author, even if you don't have the budget for a publicist. Now, when I wrote my first book, Awkward as a New Brave, I actually searched for a publicist to help me with the launch and promotion of my book, but they were outside of my budget and I wasn't well known enough for them to actually want to take me on. So I took the publicity of my book into my own hands and managed to become a bestseller on all books within the Australian market, which was incredible. So I want to share 10 things that you can do today to help you get noticed as a new author, especially if you're self-publishing and maybe you've written a memoir or you have got a personal development book like my new book that's coming out, or maybe even you've written a fictional book and you're wanting to get more of your ideal readers noticing you. So let's jump into 10 things that you can do. Number one is you can send out copies of your books to influencers or to review publications. This is a great way to get some traction for your book, making sure that it's reaching someone who also shares your ideal audience for your genre, for the type of book that you're writing. Now, even speak to your friend network to see if they know anybody who might be able to assist you in this way. With my very first book, Awkward as a New Brave, my good friend Melanie, so she knew Miranda Kerr's mum, she had an existing relationship. Now, Therese was kind enough to accept a copy of my book, to read it and to share it out on her Instagram page, which was absolutely amazing for me. And it was one of those little mindset things where I couldn't actually believe that it was happening. So as you go through this, make sure you're okay with raising yourself up. It's really important that you manage any of that internal chit chat that might say you can't self-promote, because it's important to do. It's how your book sells. And if you want to have a living as a writer, it's important that your book gets out there. Number two is give interviews to other influencers. My favorite way to do this is with podcasts and the podcast community, because it's all about finding those who have a shared message around your book and looking for the different angles or the different lessons that your book contains and how you can reach their audience. You might be talking on the same topic multiple times, but it gives you the opportunity to reach multiple audiences. The other amazing bonus with doing this is you actually get some great backlinks, which are very important for SEO, to your website or to your book wherever you are selling it as well. Really important stuff to do, because that actually is something that Google likes. Number three, make use of social media platforms. Now, social media platforms are going to depend on your audience. Some people use TikTok and do book talk. Some people like Instagram or Facebook. Think about the age and the demographics of your ideal audience and how you can reach them there. I love using Instagram to provide updates, and I did take a really big mental health break from the platform for a while, but now I'm using it to promote both my old book and my new book that's coming out, and sharing tips on there for authors as well. So with that platform, if you have pre-orders happening for your book, it's a great way to pop a link into your stories and share it. And it's a great way to use some hashtags for your ideal reader audience and the topic of your book anytime that you're talking about it. And get okay with doing it weekly, maybe a couple of times a week, to really talk about your book, because that's getting more eyes and fresh eyes on your book that you have coming out or that is already being published. As you do this, just bear in mind that social media is like the rain. People have got to be out in it to see it. So doing it more than once is really important as you build your readership. Number four is to hold book signings and other events. Now, I held a book signing and an event for my first book, Awkward as a New Brave, in my local community, which is wonderful. It's a great way for your friends to bring along someone else, for you to sell copies there, to do a book reading, and to really engage your audience. My friend Kerry also held a book launch event, but she did hers with my tip number 5 at a local library. So reaching out to your local library, who is more than likely to support you as an author, is also a great opportunity, and make sure that you're planning it and giving them a lot of notice. Now, when Kerry ran her event, she hired one of the rooms in the library. She invited everybody. They turned up. She sold so many books for her adult colouring book. I was so impressed with how she had run that event, and it was amazing. And I know it boosted her confidence as a publisher to do the next book as well. Number 6 is to give talks as well on your book. So very similar to what I did before, but looking for either groups that you can go and speak to publicly. I've done events where I have gone to talk about behaving bravely for women's groups and women's networking events. So make sure that you look for other opportunities to go and talk about your book. If you are a fiction author, look for events that may appeal to your audience and see if you can go along and do a book signing there. So this is about being brave and getting out and really celebrating these creative gifts that you have. It takes a lot to write a book. You should celebrate it. Number 7 is to write articles or guest blogs about your book and have them published out on other networks. But before you go committing to doing a guest blog, I want to give you a little tip. This is my SEO nerd hat on here. Make sure you do some research around the amount of traffic that this particular guest blog is getting and whether the audience is using search terms that are similar to you. Really important thing to do, because otherwise you could be writing a guest blog for a blog that may not be getting any traffic, and then you're not going to get any visibility. Number 8 is to create a website dedicated to your book. That's right, dedicated to your book. Now, as you do that, it's really important that you look at the planning phase for your website. You really want to think about the search terms for your ideal reader and make sure that you're generating content at least once a month, around 500 words, that relate to that topic. It's a great way also to take your book's link and backlink it to your own website. If you're looking for a free website, I have a link to Groove below, which is a platform that I use, and you can get started for free. And there's some great ways that you can leverage your book. And if you're signing up, you can even grab a free author website. I've got one all set there for you. All you have to do is change out the words and the images, and you're good to go. Now, the other one that I would like to talk to you about is make use of your friend network, Facebook friend group and family, and post updates on what's happening with your book so that you can actually talk about it, whether it's to do like a throwback Thursday and remember that one time that I wrote a book and I was too scared to talk about it, or whether you actually start talking about the book and asking questions that are related to your topic so that you can drive engagement around what you're doing. For those of you who feel brave enough, you could even do a TED Talk about your book if it's connected to the topic. So if you're in that memoir or personal development space, or even if it's something creative, there are so many TEDx talks and TEDx topics out there that it's about finding one that relates to your genre so that you can lift your profile. Now, bear in mind that the TED YouTube channel has, I think, over 36 million subscribers, and that can be a great way for you to raise your profile as a new author and get noticed. So if you'd like any resources that can help you get started with your new book, make sure you check in the description below. I've got some awesome things stacked there. And remember, I also have a free cheat sheet on my website that can help you with how you can monetize your book and your story and make a bigger impact in the world. My name's Belle Lockerbie, and I will be back later on with tips on how to be brave if you're interested on Thursdays, and writer tips on Tuesdays. So I'll see you soon and have a great day. Bye-bye.